Hello, and welcome to our channel, a place where timeless stories come to life and share their gentle wisdom with us. Have you ever found yourself enjoying the beautiful sunshine of today so much that you forget to think about the clouds of tomorrow? Today, we journey into a sunny meadow to tell a very famous tale about two very different friends. This is the story of the ant and the grasshopper, and the great importance of preparing for the future. Once upon a time, in a beautiful, sun-drenched meadow, the world was alive with color and sound. The summer sun shone brightly, warming the green grass and making the little stream sparkle like a ribbon of diamonds as it flowed. Flowers of every color, vibrant reds, sunny yellows, and royal purples danced happily in the gentle breeze. It was a perfect world, full of life and warmth. In this lively meadow lived a small ant named Andy. Andy was a very hardworking and thoughtful creature. He wasn't just busy, he felt a strong sense of purpose in his heart. Every single day, from the moment the sun peeked over the hills until it began to yawn and set in the evening, Andy was working. He and his family of ants would march in a long, organized line like a tiny army on a mission. They searched for food everywhere. They carried heavy seeds, golden grains, and tiny, sweet pieces of fruit back to their home. Their home was a cozy and safe anthill built cleverly under the strong roots of a great oak tree. Winter is coming, Andy would often think to himself, feeling a small shiver of responsibility. We must be ready for it. He felt determined to keep his family safe, warm, and well-fed when the cold days arrived. This thought gave him strength, even when he was tired. Also living in the meadow was a cheerful grasshopper named Gus. Gus was an artist, a poet, and a musician all in one. He loved the summer with all his heart. In his mind, there was no reason to work when the sun was so warm, the air was so sweet, and the world was so full of music waiting to be made. He felt completely free and joyful. Gus would spend his long, happy days hopping from one fragrant flower to another. He would play his tiny fiddle, made from a blade of grass and a strand of spider silk. He sang beautiful, silly songs to the sky, the clouds, and anyone who would listen. His lovely music filled the entire meadow, and he believed that these perfect, golden summer days would last forever. One particularly hot afternoon, Gus was resting in the shade of a large mushroom when he saw Andy the ant. Andy was struggling to carry a single large kernel of corn. It was much bigger and heavier than Andy, but the little ant was pushing and pulling with all its might, its face a mask of concentration. Gus felt a little sorry for him. He stopped playing his fiddle and hopped over to his friend. "Hello, Andy," he chirped happily, his voice full of sunshine. "Why on earth are you working so hard on this beautiful day? The sun is shining, the birds are singing, it's a day for fun. Come and relax with me. I will play you a new song I just wrote about the lazy clouds." Gus was friendly and genuinely wanted to share his happiness with Andy. Andy paused his difficult task, taking a moment to breathe. He wiped a tiny drop of sweat from his brow with one of his legs. He looked at Gus, then at the warm, inviting meadow all around them. For a moment, he felt very tired, and the idea of resting was tempting. But then he remembered his purpose. "I cannot, Gus," he said. His voice was serious, but still kind. "I am helping to store food for the winter." Gus let out a laugh. His laugh was not mean. It was light and airy, like the rustling of leaves in a summer breeze. "Winter?" he asked, completely puzzled. "But winter is so far away. Look around you, Andy. There is so much food everywhere we look. Why worry about tomorrow when today is so absolutely perfect?" Andy shook his head slowly. He was a patient ant and understood that his friend saw the world differently. The days are long and warm now, it's true, But they will not stay this way. Soon they will become short and cold. The snow will fall and cover everything in a blanket of white, and there will be no food to find anywhere. We must prepare now while we have the chance." But Gus just smiled and gave a little hop, tuning his fiddle. "Suit yourself, my busy friend," he called back as he danced away. "I am going to enjoy this glorious sunshine while it lasts." And so the summer days continued. Andy and the ants worked tirelessly, their storeroom growing fuller and fuller each day. And Gus sang and danced and played without a single worry in his carefree mind. Soon the world began to change, slowly at first. The bright, vibrant green of summer began to fade. The air grew a little cooler in the mornings, carrying a new, crisp scent. The leaves on the great oak tree turned from green to brilliant shades of gold, fiery red, and deep orange. Autumn had arrived, painting the meadow in a new, beautiful palette. Andy and the ants felt the change and worked even faster. They knew their time was running out. Their home was now packed to the ceiling with enough food to last for many, many months. Andy looked at their full storeroom and felt a deep sense of pride and security. His family was safe.
Gus the Grasshopper noticed the change too. He felt a tiny, unfamiliar shiver one morning as a cold wind blew through the meadow. Many of the flowers had wilted and gone. But he was an optimist. He just pulled his legs in a little tighter and said to himself, "It is just a little cold. The sun will be back out soon." He was in denial, not wanting his perfect summer to end.
Then, one morning, the world was completely different. A thin, magical layer of white frost covered every blade of grass, sparkling like millions of tiny diamonds in the pale morning light. The air was sharp and cold. Gus woke up and felt a deep, painful cold in his bones. His precious fiddle, which he had left on a leaf, was covered in a delicate layer of ice. He felt a real flicker of fear for the very first time. The days grew shorter and colder. The beautiful autumn leaves all fell from the trees, leaving them bare and looking like lonely skeletons against the gray sky. Then, the snow began to fall. At first, it was just a few soft, gentle flakes, but soon, a thick, white blanket covered the entire meadow. Winter had truly come, silent and unforgiving. Deep underground, Andy and his family were warm and wonderfully cozy. They had a tiny fire burning, made from dry twigs, and the delicious smell of roasting seeds filled their home. Andy felt content and deeply grateful for all their hard work. They had everything they needed to survive. But outside, it was a very different story for Gus. He was terribly cold and painfully hungry. There was no food anywhere. The ground was frozen solid, and the world was eerily silent except for the sad, howling sound of the wind. He felt terribly afraid and was filled with a heavy, cold regret. "Oh, why didn't I listen to Andy?" he whispered to himself, his whole body trembling from cold and hunger. He was so weak he could barely move. His once bright green color had faded to a dull, pale shade. He was almost invisible against the snow. Finally, with his last bit of strength, he remembered Andy's home under the great oak tree. It was his only hope. He began the long, difficult journey through the deep, soft snow. After what felt like an eternity, he reached the anthill. He was covered in snow and could barely stand on his own legs. He knocked weakly on the small, sturdy door. A moment later, the door opened, and there was Andy, looking warm, healthy, and well-fed. Andy was shocked to see his friend in such a terrible state. "Gus," he exclaimed, his voice full of genuine concern. "What happened to you? You look awful." Gus looked up, his eyes full of desperation.
"Andy, I am so cold and so hungry," Gus whispered, his voice cracking with weakness. "I was foolish. You were right all along. I'm so sorry." Gus felt deeply ashamed and could not even look his friend in the eye.
Andy's heart was filled with pity for his friend. He was a kind ant, and he could not bear to see anyone suffer, even someone who had been so foolish. "Don't just stand out there in the freezing cold," he said quickly. "Come inside, hurry." He gently helped the weak grasshopper into the warmth of his home. Andy gave Gus a warm blanket made from a soft, dry leaf and a bowl of hot seed soup. Gus ate it faster than anything he had ever eaten in his life. As warmth and life slowly returned to his body, Andy sat down beside him. He was an honest friend, and he knew he had to say something important. "Gus," he began gently but firmly, "I am happy to help you. You are my friend, but you must understand this. While you were singing and dancing all summer long, I was working hard to prepare for these very days. I invited you to work with me, but you chose to play instead." Gus looked down at his empty bowl. He felt hot tears of shame welling up in his eyes. "I know, Andy. I was wrong. I was so wrong. I thought the good times would never end. I have learned my lesson the hard way." He was truly sorry, and his heart ached with regret. Andy allowed Gus to stay with him for the winter, generously sharing his food. But he made Gus promise that when spring came, things would be different. When the snow finally melted and the first green shoots of new life appeared, Gus was a changed grasshopper. He did not forget his music. His music was a part of who he was. But now he understood the importance of balance. Every morning he would help Andy and the ants gather food for the next winter. Then, in the afternoons, when the work was done, he would take out his fiddle. He would fill the meadow with his beautiful, joyful music, and now the ants would often stop to listen, tapping their feet. Gus felt happier than ever before, because now his joy was earned and his future was secure. And so the ant and the grasshopper remained the best of friends, each having learned something valuable from the other. The ant learned to appreciate the beauty of music and a moment of rest, and the grasshopper learned the value of hard work. The moral of the story is, it is wise to prepare today for the needs of tomorrow. There is a time for work and a time for play. By finding a healthy balance between enjoying the present moment and preparing for the future, we can ensure our safety, our security, and our happiness in all seasons of life. Thank you so much for joining us for this story. We hope it brought you a moment of peace and a valuable lesson to carry with you. Have a wonderful day, and if you enjoyed our tale, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more stories to come. We'll see you next time.